What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have Rocky Michaels out there in the Bay Area. He's a singer-songwriter, multi-award-winning independent singer-songwriter recording artist. Yeah. Guy's been doing it for a long time. Started playing piano at 5 years old. But there's a whole lot more to the story, and you're going to hear a lot more in the next few minutes. So stick around. Rocky Michaels coming to you. This week's shows, let's see. I have one public show that everyone is invited to. Yes, you're invited to my one public show on Friday night, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. It's a little concert starring each and every one of you. You could be a star, at least, for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what song you choose. So, you pick out the songs that you know. Some people come up to me and go, Keys Dan, what should I sing? What's the crowd like tonight? That's the good thing about karaoke. It's not about the crowd that much. It's about you. It's about what you know how to sing, what you like to sing, what you feel like singing. I'll have country songs, rap songs, pop songs, disco. They'll sing whatever they want. I've had some Japanese and, people and some Spanish people, Koreans. Yes, if it's out there and I can buy it, if it's out on the internet and I can buy it, I will get it for you. Right there, because I want you to sing in Korean. I want you to sing in German, in Russian. I want you to sing in Spanish. I want you to. Yeah, it adds a little flavor to the show. So that's my take on karaoke. Maybe it'll be a fun one. I don't say maybe it's going to be a fun one. It's definitely going to be a fun one. Always a good time at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Just the variety. Yeah, and I'd love it if there was more and more and more variety. We had 31 singers last Friday night. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of talent in that room. And I'll get through you as quick as I can. Make sure that everybody gets a turn, everybody gets a chance. And I know that the line dancers want to dance as well. It's kind of a push-pull between the line dancers and the singers. But sometimes the singers sing so good that people start dancing. And I'm very happy about that, especially those love songs when the couples get together. Grab your honey and dance. Oh, for sure. So good. So always a good time at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. I'll be there at 8 o'clock until 12:30 in the AM on Friday nights. So come be there. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Good food in the kitchen, too. Pool tables. They got 10 diamond-style pool tables and a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, come on out to the Rab. We got you. We got you covered. It's a good time at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas, Friday nights. And then on Saturday, I think I have a private event. So unless you're invited, you cannot come. But I'm very excited that I get to do private events. A lot of weddings, a lot of corporate events. Corporate events around this time of the year. But weddings, oh my goodness, almost all year long. People go, hey, when's wedding season? Wedding season is all year long. People are getting married all the time, and I'm very happy to be a part of a small part of the show. And sending them off in style, because I'll play the music for the ceremony that they have. Just the right music for when she's walking down the aisle, when he's walking down the aisle. When the bride, the groom, the right music, it becomes an important thing for a lot of people, and I'm very excited to provide that good sound and good quality, and just send people off. Hey, they took the time to get married. It's good to send them off in style. Yeah, and our family, friends, get together. Super time. All right. That's enough intro. Let's get into it with Rocky Michaels. Oh my goodness. I got him on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out my video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/keysdan. Skyping Rocky Michaels now. Hey, Rocky. There he is on my screen. What's up, Rocky Michaels?
Goodness. I'm here close to Silicon Valley, but I'm a horrible technology guy, so I apologize for that.
How close to Silicon Valley are you? Where are you at?
I'm in the town of Danville, which is probably about a half hour north of San Jose, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So you'd think we all know how to use a Skype and iPhones, but yeah. Anyways, sorry for the fumble at the beginning there, but it's great to see you. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problemo. There has to be a Danville in every state because there's a Danville probably 45 minutes away from me. And one of my favorite cartoons, of course, because I have a daughter that was just around the right age, is Phineas and Ferb. And I think they're in the city of Danville as well. Are you familiar with the Phineas and Ferb?
I am. I've got kids too. They're getting older, but we had that phase. So yeah, I think there is a Danville in just about every town, every state.
Well, I'm appreciative to Disney and their corporation for putting out. I think they're the ones that produce Phineas and Ferb because if kids are, if parents are forced to watch what the kids want to watch, it's nice to have some inside jokes for moms and dads. Some jokes that maybe we would catch, some pop culture references, and I think that Phineas and Ferb was definitely chock full of those pop culture. I don't know how old a man you are. I don't know when you graduated high school. I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you're from. Hey, why don't you give the people an idea of who is a Rocky Michaels?
Yes, who is? Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on. I appreciate what you do. I am a singer-songwriter from the San Francisco Bay Area and born and raised out here. True 49ers fan, so that's why I'm smiling even more right now.
Did they win? Are they still playing ball?
They are. They're doing quite well. So season's still going on, but it's bringing us a lot of joy out here. I kind of grew up. My parents gave me piano lessons when I was 5 years old. We grew up with a piano in the house, and so I took lessons for about 5 years or so. Moved on. I say back then, we didn't really have the internet, so it was either, all right, play piano or, go play ball or go down to the creek. So I just kind of grew up with that, and I would come back to it every now and then. And, I dabble with some songs and songwriting, but I didn't do much with it. Then in college, I was in a band, and after college, we'd play around the San Francisco Bay Area and up in Napa. And, that's when I really started writing songs. Also hanging around. I was the piano guy in the band, and everyone else played the guitar. And I thought, man, those guitar guys are so much more cool than the piano guy.
But it's hard dragging a piano around. Did you have a keyboard or as we in the '80s who grew up, the guitar?
Yeah, the old synthesizer. Yeah, I did. I would lug it around. We'd make do. But anyways, just kind of by osmosis, I just started learning guitar a little bit. And the band, after a few years, eventually we went on our different ways. One guy moved up to Oregon. We're still good friends today. But the fire had been lit. I had been writing songs, and I didn't do a whole lot for really quite some time. But I would just keep writing songs, and there would be, collecting dust. Old school, I'd have them on a piece of paper, and then really a couple of years ago, I just thought, I've got all these songs collecting dust on the shelf. I'd love to at least put some of them out there. If nothing else, if I get hit by the proverbial truck tomorrow, maybe my kids will have some insight as to, what Dad's pearls of wisdom and my thoughts. So it just kind of took on a life of its own. And it's just been a really gratifying experience, just sharing my kind of my vulnerabilities with songwriting, my honest feelings. My songs have to do with parenting and relationships and social. And I always hope people will appreciate it. You never know, but I just have to stay authentic, and it's just been a real rewarding journey for me so far.
Oh, Rocky Michaels, listening to your songs, they're complete slices of life. They're obviously experiences either you've had or have been told to you, and you have the ability to take such experiences and put them to music. And these are, I mean, just the latest offering, which is what I'm naming the podcast, The Uncomfortable Truth. That is a powerful, powerful song. But I do want to go back a little bit further. You said you were kind of spinning your wheels in the Bay Area when you were in college or in high school. What extracurriculars did you do? You played piano. Were you? What were you into? What were you and your buddies getting into in high school? And I've been to San Francisco. I haven't been there since I was a teenager. I was 16, and we took a family trip. And I remember it was freezing cold on the bay, and I never made it to Alcatraz, but I was able to see Alcatraz out on the bay, and it's farther away than a lot of people think or imagine that it is from San Francisco. But tell me about you growing up in San Francisco, playing piano and trying to impress people with your skills.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny. You reminded me, I think it was Mark Twain who had the quote, "The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco." So it's deceiving.
You better believe it. Sam Clemens. Yep.
So in I did Little League baseball, and in high school, was kind of a late bloomer. I wasn't a big guy, so I ran track and cross country, and just eating like a maniac. And I just, I couldn't gain weight in college, and I think I bought a real cheap Casio piano, a portable piano, because I kind of missed the piano at home. I remember playing Bon Jovi, "She's a Little Runaway." Da, 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 da. That was kind of my...
All right, no more. I don't think we can afford the rights on that one.
A little shout out to Bon Jovi there.
For sure.
But yeah, in high school, it was pretty much, like I said, I wasn't really involved in music as much with the gang. That was more in college and after college. And at first, we just started playing cover songs. And then at some point, someone said, "Hey, do you guys have any original songs?" And really just kind of the light bulb went off. I'm like, I do. Being the piano guy, as much as I wanted to be a hardcore rocker, all I could come up with were these like rock ballad songs. But the bandmates were great. We had some of my songs we played and some other songs. And as I learned guitar, I was able to hopefully expand on my sort of the breadth of songs and songwritings. And I'm still doing that today.
Well, there's a lot to be said about ballads. You just mentioned Bon Jovi, great balladeer, and the hair bands of the 80s and 90s that I grew up with. Yes, I appreciated their loving side, the softer side, the side where they're talking to the ladies. And, isn't that why you start playing guitar anyway, is to attract the mate?
Well, yeah, no, there's something about those 80s rock ballads, they're, I think they're coming back in style here. It was kind of a rites of passage. At first, I was just writing songs, and, I think I found early on, for me at least, it's just kind of hard to fabricate and make up things. So, I figured long ago, I'm just going to, whatever I'm feeling at the time. Back then I was writing about, girls breaking up with me and this and that. And obviously nowadays I have a different perspective, and I have I like to think a more mature approach to my songwriting, because I've lived a little. And again, writing about, topics of parenting. I have one song in particular. It's called Wishes. It's a song that I wrote for my children. Just wanting more for them than you want for yourself. And with their permission, I have photos of them throughout the song as they, from babies to a few years ago. So it's I'm at a different stage now than I was, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's what happens to artists and writers and people that grow up and start to have families of their own. Ozzy Osbourne, he bit the head off of a bat. And then when Jack was born and Kelly was born, then it's Mama, I'm coming home. No more tears. Oh, he's the family side, the lighter side. He's growing up. All right, I'm sure he's still got that rock in him. But, you got to soften up a little bit. Start thinking about your family. Start thinking about your children. And I'm glad you have that in you. You, like I said, the music that you play, the music that I was watching on YouTube today was slices of life, your life, and what you put. People write books. You write songs. And I think you've told stories with your songs. You think you've told the whole story up to now?
Oh, I don't know. By the way, you won't ever catch me biting the head off any snake. I'll put that out there right now. I'll leave that for Ozzy. I don't know. I think it's hard to know what will inspire me. It's sort of, 24/7. If I have an idea in mind or a theme, thanks now to technology, I'll make a little audio note on my phone because I'll remember, I'll forget it the next day. It's like I said, I'm trying to share almost like a living diary, and I grew up, listening to songs in the 70s and 80s. I grew up listening to the Eagles and, Tom Petty and Simon and Garfunkel and some great artists. Nowadays, there's some great artists out there, Taylor Swift, Post Malone. I think those in my generation who grew up listening to songs in the 70s and 80s, I think there's an opportunity to tell a story about where we are now, parenting and relationships and perspective. And, my elevator speech is, while that lane might not be as wide, it's not as crowded either. And I think an opportunity exists really for some good engagement for those in my age range demographic that might want to hear about these topics.
Yeah, take the narrow path.
That's what I say.
But, it sounds like we've had similar upbringings. The 70s and 80s shaped my life. My mom graduated in 69. I was born in 69. I think she graduated in 68. But you mentioned the Eagles. They're an eclectic type of group as well from California. And I remember they were one of the 3 8-track tapes that I owned. They had the greatest hits, and they still had so much hits left to make. People thought they were crazy. In 1976, making a greatest hits album, you still got lots of life left. But they wanted to compile their best songs for some reason, and it worked out.
The younger audience is going, did he say 8-track tapes? What's that? They're Googling that right now. But it's funny you mentioned the Eagles. I was so influenced by them. I do have a song called Eagle, actually. And, it's part about just wanting to kind of rise above the fray with all the craziness going on. But for those true Eagle fans out there, I do drop a couple of references to some of those iconic Eagle songs and lines. So, for you Eagles fans out there, I invite you to listen to the song Eagle and see how many references you can pick up.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that song, but if you mention Winslow, Arizona, I will.
I did.
Oh, yes. Okay. Now I'm getting the idea of what the song is, but you've traveled as well. You're from the Bay Area, which is a eclectic place, a very technological place. People think of the Bay Area, as a place where technology comes from. People are thinking, there's a lot of, poets that went through, great thinkers have gone through the San Francisco area. And there's a lot of that's still there. Are there still beatniks or a newer version of a beatnik that's spouting out spouting out his words of wisdom.
Yeah, it's really a diverse area for those who don't know. I mean, you can go to the ocean, the coast, which is one of my favorite places. You can go, to Napa. I mentioned you go down south to Carmel and Monterey, and you go east to Lake Tahoe if you want to get some skiing in. So there's a lot of variety, but even within that, and I'm in a pretty suburban area in Danville, but Berkeley, still it's a half hour or so from here. I mean, it still has kind of that, what's the word? Not being psychedelic. It still has a different feel to it, and that's part of the charm. There's such diversity out here. You can drive in any direction and find different styles of music. There's country out here. There's folk. Green Day's from out here, and Journey, and Creedence Clearwater. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, but people at Berkeley, when I think of Berkeley, when I think of that college, I think of a place where people, they go to learn, but they also go to teach and to share ideas. And that, to me, sounds like a great way of going to college. You don't go to college to drill the math. For the most part, most people, hey, and if you know math and if you're a scientist, please keep on doing what you do, save the world. And, but if you go to Berkeley, you're going to share ideas. You're going to see if, melt with other people, and not just people that think like you, but people that don't think like you. And you're talking,
exactly.
That could be very political, where you're reaching across the aisle. Well, I hope that Berkeley diffuses the aisle, breaks the aisle down and makes it all one big giant auditorium, or one place so everyone can sit and listen and glean.
Yeah, Danville, it's, we love it here, but it's a pretty homogeneous area. And we often joke, to our kids, you're kind of living in the bubble, because it's not really the real world. But again, you just go out, be it Berkeley or other areas. I mean, there's such diversity here, and that's good. That's what makes the world go around. Just embracing diversity. We can all. I mean, I'm gonna sound like a cliche, but I mean, differences should be valued, and we can learn from. There's synergism. 1 + 1 can be more than 2, because we have so much we can learn from each other.
Yeah, I grew up on the opposite side of the country. I was born in Miami and grew up in, South Florida, the Florida Keys, and the black, the white, the red, and the brown. Everyone was living together. And I didn't realize that there were different races until I was in 7th grade. So if you don't think that that's taught, it is most definitely taught. People need to learn to love each other, and embrace the different cultures. That's what this melting pot is about. And, not to get, I guess I am getting a little political, but these are things that are just on my mind. But I see, when I said well-traveled, you went to Hawaii and you got a song called Hanalei came out of it. You've been around this world. Tell me about the places that you've been and the songs that were inspired by the places that you've been. Not just that one Hanalei, but you could talk about that one. That's a great one.
Yeah, Hanalei is my wife and I. It's our favorite spot in the world. By the way, if anybody wants to go there, it sucks. Don't go there. I'm kidding. Leave it all for us.
That's right.
No, what's great about it is we went there a few years ago. We didn't know much about it, but to get away from all the chaos, it's the north part of Kauai. You can go to beaches and make your own footprints in the sand. Jurassic Park was filmed there, so just lush greenery. And for us, we just kind of fell in love with it. So that's become our happy place. We'll joke with each other as the stresses of life get a little intense. Think of your happy place. So yeah, the Hanalei song came out of that. A lot of my songs, I mentioned earlier, I'm fortunate to live close to the coast, and we just love getting away from that as well. Got a song called Highway 1, which, for those not familiar, Highway 1 is literally the highway that parallels the Pacific Ocean, and you can go north of San Francisco all the way down to Malibu and LA. So that was a song that I got inspired just going over the hill from Danville to the ocean, it's like you're in an entirely different world, even though it's only maybe 30 miles away. And yeah, I don't try to write songs for locations. Again, it's sort of wherever I find the motivation, and I don't always know where it's going to be, but if I feel there's something there and something to share, I'll try to share it. And then I have to decide, okay, is this worthy of putting it out there, in the public realm? Not everyone might appreciate it the way I do, but I hope they do. If they don't, it still has been a joyous process for me to put out.
Well, on the East Coast, we have US 1, and on parts of US 1, it's called the Overseas Highway. Is Highway 1 also known as the Pacific Coast Highway, the PCH? Or is it parallel?
PCH.
Okay.
PCH, yes. Interestingly, more down south, Southern Cal, they refer to it as PCH. But yeah, PCH. In fact, I think I use that I'm dropping song references. Highway 1, I reference PCH as part of the lyrics there as well.
I want you to drop as many song references as you can. I want more ears to listen. My loyal listener is going to be telling all of his friends, his or her friends, all of their friends about Rocky Michaels and the great things that you've explored and that you're singing about, that you're telling stories about. Because when people go to a Rocky Michaels show, you're not only making videos, which I love. I'm an MTV. I was born in '69, but I grew up in the MTV era. And as soon as I could start playing music videos when I was DJing and become a VJ, I started doing it. And you've taken the time to make music videos, and I appreciate that, because those music videos are going to be played this weekend at the Rab, and on Saturday at my private event. They're going to go, who is that on that screen? Oh, that's Rocky Michaels. I was just talking to him on the podcast, so you should hear more. And that's my job. I don't play music. I've had guitars. There's a full professional piano keyboard out there. I've had harmonicas in my hands, different instruments. Can't play them. Don't know how to play them. Haven't taken the time. I need to take the time, but I'm too busy enjoying this. My lease in life, or my lot in life, is to break out artists such as yourself, which I say I'm breaking you out. You've been doing it at least 4 years strong on YouTube, and probably a whole lot longer than that. Tell me what years you started, and what was that first band? You said it was a cover band. What kind of trouble were you getting into with those people?
Just trying to feel our chops a little bit. We a couple of the guys lived in a city here called Foster City, kind of an aquatic name, and they lived on a street called Niantic Drive. So as a default, the first band we were called the Niantics, and people were like, what? It was so much fun. I was with my buddies. We're learning to kind of develop our trade. The first concert we put out, we invited all of our coworkers. So there were like 200 people at this bar. They had never heard us before. Someone joked, well, they look good on paper. And I have a vivid memory of my parents in the audience, and they could be easily spot, because out of all 200 people, my parents were the only ones with their fingers in their ears. And but they stayed there like troopers. The second time around, we didn't quite have as many people, but that was part of the development process. And we weren't rowdy or anything. We're all college grads, and we all had day jobs, but we just had a lot of fun and a lot of good memories. And that was really kind of the good breeding ground for me to really sort of develop. And I'm still trying to develop just, songwriting skills and mixing and lyrics and guitar and piano. And it's nice now. If I'm more proficient on the piano, but if I'm trying to play a guitar and I'm like, what is that chord? I can go to the piano. It's almost like cross training. And it helps me in both areas. And I just love creating music, and I hope that passion never dies, because it's, like I said, it's just been a very rewarding journey for me so far.
Yeah, those original shows that you're talking about, the 200 people in front of you, the comics would call that the bringer show, where you're bringing all your friends, all your family, trying to gain some support.
Right.
Hopefully the club is appreciative of all the people that you brought to eat. Now, you mentioned your mother and father. Hey, they showed up. They came out. What does your mom and dad think about this business called show? You've already said that you have a day job, which is great. Good to have a day job, get a steady paycheck, and it affords you the ability to do this night thing that you have to do, that you have a calling for. But tell me about mom and dad. What do they think about it?
Yeah, well, that's true love. I mean, at first, they've always been supportive, always been supportive. In fact, growing up, they were kind of referred to as, Ward and June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. It just, everything was just so wonderful. They, we weren't that great when we started, but they still supported me. This was, whatever, years ago, a couple of decades ago. So they continue to be tremendous supporters, whatever I'm doing now on my own, maybe some of the accolades. They just, it makes me feel very happy to know that they have such pride. And, my songs are clean. I'm not dropping any F-bombs, I'm just trying to represent myself the way that's natural for me. So, it makes me feel good to know that I'm somehow bringing some joy to them as well.
Yeah. I don't know what songs you were going to, that made them put their fingers in their ears, but, you were trying, you were doing your thing. How many people were in this band and what were the instruments?
Yeah, there were 5 of us. It was, I don't recall the song. It was just the volume. What was the show? The movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, 11. It was really loud. So at the time, I think, again, I was the keyboard guy. We had 2 guitarists, a drummer, and a bass player. And it was fun. Again, I'm still friends with those guys today. We're all kind of, venturing on the different paths in our respective lives. But it's fun to reminisce. Fact, I'm going to drop another song. I have a song called Glory Day. Yeah, which is really just about us, the good old days when we didn't know any better. We thought we were going to live forever. And for the video, I got everyone to reunite. The first time all of us had been together in over 10 years, and we reunited on the coast at Half Moon Bay, and that's incorporated into the music video. All these songs I'm referencing have music videos. You can just YouTube Rocky Michaels or Google it, but that was really enjoyable because we all got together, and interspersed in the video was us a year or so ago, but we also had footage of 20 years ago, old grainy footage. We had a lot more hair back then, we looked a lot younger. And so it was a lot of fun to make. And that's kind of a fun song, a fun memory to look back on.
Yeah, one of the things that I appreciate about your videos is not only you're making the music videos, but you're also doing a lot of behind the scenes. And that's fun for me, the viewer, for me, the consumer. That's, I get to see the peak. You have a sneak peek. A lot of the songs you have 3 videos, and you'll have a sneak peek, maybe a little 30-second snippet, because you're just so excited to put the thing out there, but it's not quite finished or whatever. And then you have the making of the video, and then you have the video itself. And that's not just one, but quite a few. I'm seeing some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, what are you doing this because that's something that you would want to see from artists, or are you doing this because, I don't know, you just like to make content? Well, why do you put out the making of?
Yeah, no, good question. For me, I've always been interested to see how others, whether it's the making of a movie or outtakes. And, the way my videos go, I've got a lot of outtakes. A lot of things go wrong. So, I'm human, and I just thought, hopefully there might be people who might like to see that it's not all perfection and, edited. There's definitely flaws and mistakes that take place, and how do they make that scene? So I've always found it interesting, and I'm putting it out there. And since we have the material anyways, usually it's been kind of fun to make as well.
Yeah, you're seeing the raw footage. Some of the best parts of the Jackie Chan movies are the end, the outtakes, when he's busting things up, doing all his own stunts, getting hurt, falling in the mud, having to do the rest of the movie with a cast on because he broke his leg. These are little the imperfections are what make life so interesting. A lot of people live an Instagram life or live a TikTok life. And it's nice to put out the best parts of yourself, but hey, it's okay to let people see the unmade up versions of you, the unfiltered versions of you. Try to keep it clean, even though it's unfiltered. But I see a lot of these gals
we're human.
A lot of these gals are going around with hey, I have no makeup on. Oh, okay. That's nice. But you're not perfect, but I like it. I like the behind the scenes. I like the rawness of it. It's beautiful. And if I like it, somebody else is going to like it, right?
All right. Well, if you like it, I'll keep trying to do that.
Thanks. Just for me. Rocky Michaels is doing it just for me. I like this. Now, hey, one of my favorite films that Mike Myers did is So I Married an Axe Murderer. How much of that San Francisco area, and I'm presuming that you've seen it, because as much as I love Miami movies, being from Miami, I suspect anyone from San Francisco has seen every San Francisco movie ever made. Have you seen So I Married an Axe Murderer?
You're putting me on the spot. As much as I try to prepare for the interviews, I was not forecasting that question. I have not seen that movie, but because of this, I'm going to go rent it.
Yes, you will.
Download it.
Stream it. That's right.
So
That's right.
Seen it, though.
We're living in the now. That leads me to a next a little bit is the streaming. You said you were going to go rent it, and yes, I used to go spend Friday nights at the Blockbuster. But no, not anymore. At the video,
I can't
at the
find
local
a Blockbuster anymore.
There's only one in Oregon, Bend, Oregon, where half of your crew has gone. Maybe they're going to that Blockbuster up there. You said some of your bandmates are up in Oregon, right?
Yeah, Medford. Yeah, I said rent. I think I slipped and showed my age there. I should have said stream or download or on demand or Amazon Prime or Netflix. That's sound a lot more current if I say those things.
No, but we're talking streaming, okay? There are no record sales anymore. I used to love going to my local record store. In fact, when in high school, I was, the high school DJ before I became a professional DJ, and I would go to the video game parlor, McSugar's in Fort Lauderdale. I don't even know if it's still there anymore.
McSugar's.
But it was a video game parlor, and they sold ice cream and snacks and stuff. But right next door was my record store. And whenever he saw my red Mustang pull up, he saw me coming. Nice. He knew my number, okay? Because he said, Dan, I got some new stuff for you. I got some new record albums for you. I missed that. I missed going through the stacks. And he knew I was the DJ, and he knew he was going to get half, if not most, of my money. Because I figure as a musician, you're spending your money on gear. But record sales, there's no records, there's no CDs. People are buying them maybe out of nostalgia. But does anybody ever play records or CDs? It's all streaming. And how are you making any money off of streaming? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm not. Spotify is awesome and wonderful, but they pay decimals on the dollar. But I think vinyl has been making a little bit of a comeback here. Although you need to have the player to be able to play it on. Otherwise, it's just a frisbee.
Yes, I have one album stuck to my wall right here. It's a Billy Crayon. He's an artist that I've known for a while, and I had him on the podcast, and he sent me an album. What did I do? I stuck it on the wall. Okay, it's not for playing. I don't even have a turntable anymore. I used to have 2 turntables and a microphone, but I gave those up in 2000 when it all went digital. What do you think about the streaming?
Yeah. Well, I mean, from a technological standpoint, it's great in that it puts more control in the hands of the independent artists, which is always a good thing. It's just, it just also requires a lot more creativity these days. I mean, I'm trying to learn from our kids, they're like the social media directors of the household, as far as hashtags and, when to post. And so I'm learning a little bit. I still love playing out. When I do these days, I'm just a solo musician. It's just myself, typically, and a guitar. Sometimes I'll bring a piano. But out here, obviously, there are a lot of wineries, and that's a great compatible venue for me. I'm pretty mellow with my songs. And just trying to get in front of people and slowly, I do track my followers, and they're ticking up, or they're slow. I don't think I'm going to sell out Wembley Stadium anytime soon, but it's okay. I'm enjoying the path I'm on, and some of my best memories of interaction have been when there's been a very small crowd, and it's an intimate little setting, and you can talk with them and explain what the songs are about, and they're asking questions, and it's that level of engagement that that's a great form of currency, even though Spotify might not pay much for the song.
Well, you're talking about social media, and I'm glad that you have your children to help you navigate through the social media waters, and when to post on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, or with this podcast itself. I don't think I've learned that lesson at all. Sometimes I overpost, sometimes I underpost. If I talk to 3 people that week, they're going to get 3 podcasts. If I talk to 5 people that week, you're going to get 5 podcasts. Should I be holding these podcasts behind? Maybe you can ask your kids for me. Maybe am I posting too much? Because I know that as soon as we're done with this podcast, I'm going to want to put it together and put it out to the world. I'll edit out a little bit, and I'll make sure that it's crisp enough, and I'll put it out to the world. But what do your kids say about the amount of posting? Should you post every day? Should you post twice every day? What are you posting every day?
Question. I think it's also very easy to just kind of get so absorbed in, should I be posting more, and just quality or quantity over quality. And just for me, I would rather focus on quality and not quantity. So, I'm not just going to post, oh, hey, look at the cat in the tree or whatever. I mean, I want to have it, hopefully whoever's following me, I want them to feel, interested and engaged, whether it's the making of or little snippets of what I'm playing out. And if that means I don't post every day, then so be it. Like I said, I want to continue to grow and expand, but I'm also realistic in managing my expectations. As long as I stay true to myself, enjoy the ride. That's kind of my motto, because I like to bike as one of my other things. So my motto is just enjoy the ride. Kind of enjoy all the steps along the way.
Yeah, no, we as a people collectively had to pull back from social media back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when this thing was brand new and we had digital cameras in our phones, and we were able to post. We were posting about food and the tree that we saw, and the look at that tire, and look at that, we were posting about everything. And I think it was just too much. Hey, hopefully we pull back. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to navigate. I mean, you have your children that grew up with this, and we grew up before the internet. So before that, we had record producers, record labels that would help us to promote our stuff. A street team. If I was going to be playing at a club in Miami, I would have a couple of girls in bikinis go hand out flyers, and that was my social media. The street team. We have to be our own street team. You said you have to post your own media. You have to be your own roadie. You have to be your own tech. We have to do several jobs that we did not have to do a mere 20, 30 years ago. How do you think? Are you growing with this? Are you feeling good about that?
Yeah, it's again, it's sort of a choice. I can outsource, someone to be a booking manager, to be a PR manager, this and that, and that has its advantages. But it's also advantageous to just still kind of do it myself. I'm in complete 100% control. Yes, it is a lot of balls in the air to juggle at once, but at least for me, everybody has to kind of find their own path. For me, I kind of like being in control. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And so if I'm getting inundated or, I can't find the time to continue to book out, then I'll focus on, something else that I'm working on, and I can sort of navigate it on my own terms and at my own speed. So for me, that just kind of works, based where I'm at in life. But that all being said, I mean, I still have the pedal to the metal, and I'm still just trying to do, because I love it. It's when you're really passionate about something, it's really not really a job. It's just a wonderful thing that I want to immerse myself in.
Well, as an independent artist, you need, and I keep preaching this, but I don't think I practice what I preach. You need to make yourself a schedule so at this time, for these 2 hours, I'm going to be writing music. For this a half hour, I'm going to check emails. For this hour, I'm going to be doing this. Keep it structured and still find time to spend time with family and ride your bike. Because, oh my goodness, I do miss riding bicycles. There's not a lot of places here in Arkansas where I'm at, the part of the country where I'm at where I can ride my bike. But I miss living near the beach in Fort Lauderdale and in Miami, where I would ride up and down the beach, but that is a great way to clear your head and to get some good exercise at the same time, for sure.
Yeah, I think the key is just balance. I mean, it's easier said than done, but we all have so many things going on, and as long as you can maintain balance and work, but that's my goal.
So when you ride your bike, do you have places around Danville that, be on the Danville tourist board right now? Is there anything to do in Danville, or do you have to head off to the city?
No, I mean, Danville is a very suburban area. There are places to ride. In fact, you might even see in the background, I have a bike off to this way. You see my shoes on it. I have it on an indoor trainer. I'm trying to multitask, so I'll be on the bike indoors, safe. I don't have to wear a helmet. I don't have to worry about cross traffic, and I'll be on my phone or my laptop, and I can get work done while I'm riding. And again, it's a great way to kill two birds with one stone. So that's what I've been doing a lot, especially as the weather's getting a little cooler.
Well, I'm looking to get a new bike. I had a Rally Technium years ago, and that was about a $700 bike back in the mid 90s. And that was what I rode back and forth everywhere. And then it got stolen by the roofers from hell.
Man.
Yeah. Hurricane Andrew came down to South Florida. And just after that, there was a bunch of construction workers that would come in and I think that they used to steal a lot of stuff as well. And one of the casualties was my Technium. Well, what kind of gear you got back there? Because I was looking at a Trek. I'm kind of a big boy. I need something a little fatter, a little wider. But what kind of gear you got? What kind of bike is that?
Yeah, Trek's a good name. So this is actually one of my other. I'm a jack of many trades, master of none. I've been an Ironman triathlete enthusiast for the past 20 years. So this is it's a tri bike. It's Quintana Roo is the maker, and it's really thin tires. You can't go off road riding on it. But speaking of technology, whoop, did I lose you? You here?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I saw something go across. There's software now, so I could be writing, looking at a screen anywhere in the world. I could be writing in Canada or in Africa, and it's on the screen, and it's pretty amazing now how technology's kind of infiltrated all that we do. So I kind of enjoy writing different places from the comfort of my home.
Well, there's a full saying to that, jack of all trades. I when you said that, it really clicked with me. jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than master of one. So it's good to be a jack of all trades. It's good to dip your fingers in a lot of things. That's the spice of life. That's what gives you that variety. And I'm glad that you have, the bicycle, you have the family, and not necessarily in that order. And I'm looking, if you're listening to the audio version of this, I'm looking at the video. You got a guitar back there, you got a keyboard, and you got some art. Is that some kind of fancy art, or is that something you picked up at the hotel?
No, yeah. Shoot, now my secret's out. No, yeah, it's funny. That's probably the first piece of art my wife and I bought when we moved into our home 20 some odd years ago. And this is basically an extra guest room downstairs, but my wife has been very patient with me. I've kind of turned it into my man cave. So, I got my music gear in here. I got my bike in here. I've got my computer behind here. This is where I'll spend a lot of the time. So, that art was the first thing we picked up, and I don't have a interior design gene in me, so we just stuck it up on the wall, and it's just kind of stayed there ever since.
It's funny how you mentioned man cave. A lot of gentlemen have man caves, even though they've bought a whole house for their family. Technically, it's not your house; it's your wife's house, and she gets to have the majority of it and the majority of say in it. And I'm okay with that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I haven't made a decision on my own in the last over 20 years. So I'm very happy about that. Happy to have a better half. But yes, my part of the house is right here. This little part where the radio is at, where my creative juices flow, where I'm able to talk with folks just like you, Rocky Michaels, and learn from you. But man cave. Kind of a funny thing, isn't it?
As long as we have our own little space or a little sanctuary to go within the bigger picture, and hey, that works. So yeah, happy wife, happy life. Is that what they say?
Well, you do need to have your own space, and you said that your space is all the way in Honolulu. That is a far trek to go to get your happy place. Is there a happy space, a happy place that you have a little closer to home, maybe within a few miles, that you can bike to or walk to?
Well, I mean, the closest place I'll go back to the coast. We could probably get there in less than an hour. And, the West Coast differs a little bit from the East Coast. There's not a lot of development. There's so many natural, beautiful things to see from lighthouses and tide pools and little secret beaches that are off the beaten path. And it's just, the natural beauty of it. So there's such a variety. So that we'll go there without having to hop on an airplane, all season round. It's summer, winter, and that's our closer go-to place.
Yeah. The few times that I've been out to California, I do know that there's, beach and mountain within hours of each other. So you can do both, and you can be up in the snow and then go out to the beach on the same day. And it's amazing. Yeah. But, what is, one of the things I'm hearing about California is the mass exodus. What's going on? Why are people leaving California?
Well, it is one of the more expensive places. I mean, specifically the San Francisco Bay Area. I think between that and New York, maybe even Hawaii, those are like the three most expensive places to live. The rising housing costs, if you haven't been able to get in earlier, it's for somebody, fresh out of college trying to make it, you almost can't afford to rent out here. And so there are the less expensive cost of living areas, but for those who are here, I mean, we still love it. Again, the diversity, there's so much out here. My parents are both from New York, and I've gone there a few times, and I love it. It's so exciting, but I would never survive in New York. I'm a true Californian. So, for better or for worse, this is my home.
Well, part of Boz Luhrmann's sunscreen the song that they made off of his, I guess, some kind of speech he was giving. Part of it was live in New York, but leave before it makes you too hard. Live in California, but leave before it makes you too soft. That was part of it. Part of that song.
I hadn't heard that before, but I could see that. It's, wherever you go, you make it. It is what it is. I mean, every place is going to have pros and cons. People think, "Oh my goodness, how do you live with the earthquakes out there?" We don't have humidity. We don't have tornadoes. It's the few times it's happened, it's fairly quick, and fortunately, nothing really horrible has happened aside from the big one, of course, in '87 or '89. But it's you live with it. You take the pros and the cons.
Yeah, I'm in South Florida, or I was in South Florida. How do you live there with the hurricanes? Now I'm in Tornado Alley here in Arkansas. It's more in Oklahoma, but we deal with all kinds of things from Mother Nature. Whatever they throw at us, we overcome, adapt, that kind of thing. But
yeah.
Okay. Here's as we start to land this plane, give some advice to people from, say, the Midwest. They're getting on a bus and they need to go somewhere to go become a musician, to go hone their craft. Do they go to Nashville? Do they go to Vegas? Do they go to LA? Do they go to New York? What? Or is it because of different kinds of music? The country people need to go to Nashville. The people that write stuff like the Eagles, like your music, that's very Americana, very folks, very, I don't know, I can't put a genre on it, and I hope nobody ever puts you in a box. But where do people go to hone their craft?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm certainly not the expert, but I mean, it seems like certainly Nashville is is country, the country mecca. Maybe LA might be pop, commercial pop. But that being said, I mean, I think there's such a melding area. I think you can probably, especially if you do a lot through social media and online. I mean, you can do it from anywhere, and I think you'll just find, your niche as you go. At the beginning, like some people think, oh, are you country? And like you said, I try not to define myself. I'm a singer-songwriter. Maybe there's an element of country, there's an element of rock, but I just play what I play. People can define it, and if I go somewhere, hopefully I'll bring a guitar and I'll play. And so, a long-winded answer. I don't know how you go out and navigate it. I think the more important thing to do is just to go out and put yourself out there and play. And wherever you are, you're going to find engagement and lack of engagement, and then you just kind of navigate as you go.
Well, you said earlier about quantity over quality, or quality over quantity. With SoundCloud out there, it's some of these kids, it's hard for them to pull back. When your brain's not fully formed, you played a little something on a keyboard, or you played a little something on a guitar, and you were able to record it with your computer or with your phone, and to upload it onto SoundCloud. You want to, man. Should you be uploading everything, or would your advice to the young people say, why don't you get that produced a little bit? And are you producing your own stuff? I know that's a couple of questions there. Are you producing your own stuff, or do you have a team that helps you to produce your music?
Yeah. So a couple of questions there. First of all, some days I don't feel like my brain's fully formed either. So, you have days like that. I think for the young people, you really have to ask yourself, what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? Do you just want to put out content and just, have something to show your friends and family? That's great. Do you want to achieve something different? Do you want to try to, get noticed and maybe, get signed? I mean, that would sort of be a different approach. So it kind of depends what your goals are. There's nothing wrong with just putting out content if you get satisfaction out of it. So I think it's really just a function of figuring out what is it you want to achieve. And again, another cliche. It's not solely about the destination. It's the journey along the way. And if you can find enjoyment out of what you're doing, if you're just focusing on the end goal, there's a good chance you're going to be disappointed and you're going to kind of miss the forest for the trees, along the way. Your second question about production, it's again with technology. I've been able to work with some really great producers they just happen to be in Nashville, but I've never met them in person. With technology now, I will send them a little audio file. I'll play guitar or play the piano and sing kind of a scratch, demo. Here's what I have in mind. We'll talk about it. I'll say I like a bridge here. I hear, I hear a mandolin maybe, or this or that. They'll come back and give me something. They hire session musicians. We massage it a bit. Once I'm comfortable with it, I'll then lay my vocals here, and then I'll send it back to them, and it's all sent back and forth electronically, with WAV files and MP3 files. So, I couldn't do this probably 10, 20 years ago, but with technology, I'm able to tap into some really high quality producers, and still kind of have it be, my own creation. And, so that's been kind of fun as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I talk to people from all over the world using this technology, and they have your story is very similar in that respect. I talked to a gent in Australia. His bassist is in the Middle East. His drummer is in Germany, and his producer is in Italy. And they put it all together. It's fantastic the way that this internet can be used for good as well as evil, but certainly for good. And what kind of gear, if somebody wanted to record vocals, I'm rocking the SM7B. What kind of gear are you using to lay down your vocals? Do they need a very expensive computer, or can they just use their phone?
Can use your phone. I think the quality won't be quite as good. I mean, I use Logic Pro is the software I use. I mean, there's a number of different ones out there. That's just one that I landed on, and I'm used to it now. I almost don't want to kind of relearn a different one. I have it's called an audio interface. It's called Focusrite. I don't want to get too technical.
Please do. Teach people.
And so an audio interface is great because then I can plug the microphone. The audio interface is sort of the intermediary between the microphone or the guitar or the piano and the computer. And, one of the rooms up here, I converted a old walk-in closet to kind of there you go, Focusrite. Focusrite. Yeah. You're right. We're talking the same language. So one of the closets in our room just converted into a sort of a vocal booth. Again, with the software, I really love harmonies. And that's an aspect of it that I didn't think I would enjoy, but coming up with 3-part harmonies and messing around with that. A lot of my songs have, most of my songs have harmonies, and so that's been a really fun process as well when I'm creating a song.
No, it's nice.
A lot of info there.
No, you let people know what kind of gear they need to for about $1,000, maybe $2,000, you can have your own recording studio where you can make a little bit of a demo. But then someone with good ears and a discerning talent that has done this thousands of times can help you to mix and master that. You said Logitech or Pro, but I've been using
Logic Pro. Yeah.
Logic Pro. I've been using Cool Edit, and now it's Adobe Audition. Since I got out of radio school, and I'm kind of a snob with that. Even though I used Final Cut and Final Scratch, I used some Apple products, and Pro Tools back then. But you get what you're comfortable with. That's a great lesson that you're giving people, and you're comfortable with these different items. Fantastic. All right, man. Let's take this thing home. I've taken up a lot of your time, but I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. As time progresses, if you have things to promote, if you have a show that's coming out, I want you to come back and chit chat with me. It doesn't have to be the full hour.
I'd love to,
but just tell me some stuff. But I do like when you give credit where credit is due. You talked about some of the people in Nashville that have been helping you out. Give some shout outs to people that have helped you along the way, because we can't do this all by ourselves, even though some kids think they can. You can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So I'm currently working with a great producer in Nashville, Stacey Hogan, great guy. Before that, I was working with another great high quality producer, Dan Ford, who's actually in Franklin. They've really, I'm just eternally grateful to them. I mean, I've been so fortunate to sort of land on them and lean on their talents and expertise. And you know, that aside, I mean, everything else I'm kind of doing myself, the videos. It's amazing what you can do with an iPhone and a tripod, and some, video software. I use iMovie to edit, and just about all my videos have been self-made. And again, you're only limited by your imagination. So it's been pretty fun.
Well, I know that there's a making of The Uncomfortable Truth, but tell me about that song. It's a real powerful song, and that's one of the latest offerings of you. Give the people an idea of what that song's about, and that'll give you a little taste of what Rocky Michaels is about.
Yeah, thank you. So that's my latest song, and it's kind of a departure. A lot of my songs prior to that have been, upbeat, happy-go-lucky, about relationships, what have you. This is a song that's actually sung from the perspective of a homeless person, and I'm very proud of it. But it's kind of different. And I've been asked, well, how did you come up with that? And I don't really know the origin, but I think we've all come across homeless people at one point or another. And honestly, I've been conflicted. I mean, I want to help them out, but I can't help them out all the time. But I think the message I was really trying to convey is, you see someone, you have no idea what their history is. You don't know what road they may have traveled, or, if they lost a job. So it was an attempt to hopefully offer a little reminder of humanity along the way. And I'll just add, about 2 weeks before the song came out, this is in October, I was on LinkedIn, and I happened to notice this really wonderful endeavor. Shout out to Dennis Pitoko and Peggy Wilms. They're co-authoring a book called Unsheltered, Voices from the Street. And it has to do with real life stories of homeless people. And just by circumstance, I saw this. So I reached out to Dennis and I said, hey, really admire what you're doing. By the way, I just wrote this song. It's going to be released in 2 weeks. And I think it really speaks to what the message you're trying to convey. And I'm happy to offer whatever, I can to help, further this message. And they embraced it. And now it's going to be an anthem for the rollout. But it's really just a kind of a social awareness song. I didn't think it was going to be that big of an engaging song, but for those who are providing feedback, I think it's I'm heartwarmed to know that it's helping to continue to raise the awareness of this really important subject.
Well, I know that it's big time in San Francisco. There is a big homeless, I guess houseless, was unsheltered, unhoused. What's the new term now?
Yeah. All the above.
Right. Who was the actor? Who was the bearded actor that you had there?
Yeah. So there was a service I used, casting networks, and I actually interviewed, again, one of my many balls. I'm also a casting director among everything else. So I interviewed a number of actors, and I saw this gentleman, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't even spoken with him, but he's perfect for what I envisioned in my crazy mind. And then I spoke with him, and great guy, James Cart. So we hired him, and we hired another young actor, a young, 20 some odd year old. And, I'm real pleased with how it came about. And again, hopefully, the story aside, hopefully the message resonates, because that's really what it's about. It's the message. And but that was a very fun process.
Casting director, that's fantastic. I mean, he kind of looks like a Santa Claus that's down on his luck a little bit, And the making of the making of that video, that was fantastic. Him sitting in front of a flat screen, and you're explaining what he needs to do. Yes, look, my loyal listener, watch the video, watch the making of video. It's what DVDs used to be. We used to have those DVD extras on the when you rented That's one right. from the Blockbuster Video to bring it all the way back home. All right.
Sometimes that was better than the movie.
Yes. Oh, director's commentary. What did the actor think about this? That's fantastic. Extra scenes that were deleted. Oh, that was better than what was in the movie. Oh, but all right, my man. Let me let you back to your back to the wild, back to your family. Get back on your bike. Oh, maybe it's getting too late for that. But I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra you wake up with every morning, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Rocky Michaels, give the last words for the people.
All right. Well, thank you. Again, thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it. And appreciate what you do. You've got great content. Last word. What comes to mind is, again, apologies, I'm going to drop another song. I have a song called The Golden Rule. And it's, these times are so crazy and such divisiveness and such vitriol out there. The golden rule, as advertised, just treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, it doesn't have to get that much more complicated than that. So that would be a kind of a vibe I'll end with out on the airwaves. Just, treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, we can do this. So that's my last take.
Well, there you have it, party people. Rocky Michaels, what a cool dude. And yeah, he was referencing all this. You were referencing, Rocky, I'm guessing you're still listening or still watching, but you were referencing so many songs and so many feelings that came from those songs. And, my loyal listener, you got homework to do. Go hit up the YouTube page, hit up the Spotify, and find the various places you can listen to the songs of Rocky Michaels and listen in, especially that Uncomfortable Truth. Oh, what a powerful song. And the video, well made. And Rocky Michaels, you can't do it all by yourself. You're going to need some help eventually. I'm glad you got your kids. I know we didn't talk a lot about your family life and what have you, but it seems like you got a good family life, a good base, making you happy. And maybe the kids are teaching you some stuff about this social media thing, this interweb, even though our generation is the one that invented it. We were playing video games. We were playing Atari and ColecoVision, so we had our ideas about computers in the house and digital, the early days of digital. So, yeah, I think we get a handle on it. So, but there's always stuff you can learn. And you said, in your songwriting, you still are applying finesse, and learning. It's always a learning process as well as a teaching process. I'm sure with all the skills you've learned, you can start teaching the next generation, maybe your kids, maybe the people around the neighborhood. You can become a music teacher and start teaching your craft, the process. I know you gave us a little taste here on the What Makes You Famous podcast, and I appreciate it so much, Rocky Michaels. Thank you so much for being on the show. RockyMichaelsMusic.com. All the various social medias are in the show notes below, so check that out and click everything. Give Rocky Michaels a follow. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. We didn't even talk about Threads. I know I have a Threads account. I hardly ever post on there. It doesn't seem like it's there just yet. And Twitter is just going, it's spiraling. It is spiraling. LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn. Every once in a while I see somebody said something on LinkedIn and I'll go over there and check it out. Maybe they got a new job or what have you, and I'll congratulate them on their new job. I think it's more professional, LinkedIn. And then you even have your PayPal me on your website. So I went ahead, I included on the show notes there. So if you like what Rocky Michaels does, throw him a couple bucks on his PayPal. Yeah, maybe he can buy a new guitar or at least some new strings for his guitar. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.